1 week after their disaster in Austria, Ferrari is loading up for war. Silverstone is about to become a battlefield for its home heroes. Every driver on the grid is quietly terrified of what this track is going to do to these cars. And Formula One is putting all 22 drivers in Lego go-karts. It's British Grand Prix weeks, a sprint weekend, and it is already electric. Let's go. Let's start with a team that is absolutely furious with itself, Ferrari. Rewind 1 week, Austria. Ferrari brings its shiny new engine upgrade. Everyone expects a step forward, and instead, total collapse. Hamilton 5th, 26 seconds off the win. Leclerc 8th. They cooked their tires, wrecked their strategy, and Lewis called it a brutal reality check. The German paper build twisted the knife after Ferrari had just forced the FIA to ban Mercedes' diffuser trick. Bild wrote, and I quote, Ferrari, Mercedes wins, that's what they get. So what does Ferrari do? They don't lick their wounds, they come out swinging. According to reports out of Italy, Ferrari is rushing a massive upgrade package to Silverstone, an updated Macarena wing, that wild rear wing, that flips to kill drag on the straights, a brand new low-drag diffuser, and possibly a revised exhaust on top of it. Everything aimed at one thing, raw straight-line speed, so they never get swallowed up in dirty air like they did in Austria again. And here's where it gets spicy, this relentless wave of new parts. It's driving Toto Wolff up the wall. After Austria, the Mercedes boss said, and you can feel the side-eye, "We're a little surprised that Ferrari can throw such massive upgrades at the car the way they do." And then the dagger. Equal rules for everyone, hopefully. Read between the lines. The boss of Mercedes is basically raising an eyebrow at how Ferrari keeps spending under the budget cap. But here's the mystery hanging over the whole thing. In Austria, Vasseur admitted Ferrari's own problem was too much downforce, too much drag, choking them on the straights. Now they're bringing more aero parts. So the billion-dollar question this weekend, does this package finally fix Ferrari? Or does it repeat the exact mistake that buried them last Sunday? Silverstone, fast-flowing, brutal on aero, is going to answer that in the cruelest way possible. Story 2, and this one is personal, because Silverstone isn't just a race. For a huge chunk of this grid, it's home. Think about it. 4 British drivers are about to race in front of their own people. Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, George Russell, Ollie Behrman, plus a rookie, Arvid Lindblad, getting his home crowd too. 5 drivers, 1 crowd, and a British Grand Prix that is expecting a record over 500,000 fans across the weekend. And at the center of it all, the king of this place, Lewis Hamilton. 9 wins at Silverstone, 7 poles. Nobody in history has owned a track like Hamilton owns this one, but this year he arrives wounded, coming off that Austria reality check in a Ferrari that just doesn't have the pace. Can the greatest Silverstone driver ever drag that red car to a record-breaking 10th home win? On raw emotion alone, you can never count him out here. Then there's George Russell. He just won in Austria, his 2nd win of the season, and now he wants the one that's missing from his collection, a home victory. He's never won his own Grand Prix. And he arrives in the fastest car on the grid. And don't forget Lando Norris. He won this race last year. This is where he broke through for the first time in front of his home fans. He knows how to win here. The question is whether McLaren has the pace to do it again. 4 Brits, 1 home crowd, one of the most emotional races on the entire calendar. If you're fired up for Silverstone already, smash that like button. It tells YouTube to push this to more real F1 fans. Now, story 3. And this is the one that has the whole paddock scared. Story 3, and it's the scariest one of the weekend because for once it's not one team in trouble, it's all of them. It started with Max Verstappen. He sat in the Red Bull simulator, drove a few laps of Silverstone, and started laughing, his words. "I love the track, but I did a few laps on the simulator, and I just started laughing. It felt like a different track." And then the line that should worry every fan, you barely have battery around the lap. Here's why. Silverstone is a monster of high-speed corners, Copse, Maggotts, Becketts. Some of the most legendary corners in all of motorsport. Flat out, barely any braking, and in these 2026 cars, braking is how you recharge the battery. So on a track like this, the battery just dies. Mid-lap, The car runs out of electrical power right when the driver is flying through the fastest corners on Earth, and Max is not alone. According to Hamilton, the driver's WhatsApp group has been on fire. Everyone dreading what's coming. Fernando Alonso mocked it, saying the legendary Beckett's corner has basically turned into a charging station. Rookie Ollie Behrman is heartbroken, saying one of the greatest corner sequences on the planet is about to feel like a slow straight. We saw a preview of this horror in Japan. Remember Suzuka? Cars losing 50 kilometers an hour in the middle of the flat-out 130R purely because the battery ran dry. Now imagine that at Silverstone, the Temple of Speed. So here's the open question that makes Sunday unmissable. The fastest driver in the world is laughing at how broken this feels. The whole grid is dreading it, but George Russell, the guy who just won in Austria, thinks all this chaos might actually make the racing more exciting, more unpredictable. A tactical survival game, so which is it, a boring half-power procession? Or the most chaotic British Grand Prix in years? We find out this weekend. Story 4, and after all that tension, this one is pure joy. Formula One just confirmed it. This Sunday before the race, all 22 drivers are climbing into fully drivable Lego go-karts for the drivers' parade. And I mean real machines. Each mini car is built from over 28,000 Lego bricks, weighs almost 300 kilos, and can hit 25 kilometers an hour. And here's why this is going to be must-watch. Last year they tried this in Miami, and it turned into absolute carnage. Drivers smashing into each other, ripping Lego pieces off each other's cars, laughing like kids. The ESPN line was perfect. Lego basically built these things for combat. This year, it's even better. For the first time, every single driver gets their own kart in their team's colors. 22 of the best drivers on the planet let loose in Lego karts on the Silverstone track. Lando Norris already said it best about his home Lego race. If it's like Miami, then whoever can make it back to the start line will be a winner already. So tell me in the comments who's crashing out of the Lego parade first and who actually wins it. Drop your pick. I read every single one. So let's put it all together, because this Silverstone weekend has everything. You've got Ferrari humiliated in Austria, throwing every weapon they've got at the car to strike back. You've got 4 British heroes chasing glory in front of a record home crowd. You've got a track so extreme it has the entire grid terrified of their own machinery, and you've got 22 world-class drivers about to demolish each other in Lego karts. Fury, pride, fear, and pure fun all packed into one sprint weekend at the Temple of Speed. Silverstone always delivers, and this year it might be the best one yet. So buckle up, because the British Grand Prix could crack this championship wide open. Does Ferrari bounce back? Does a home hero win it? Does the battery nightmare turn Sunday into chaos? If you want the full breakdown the moment it happens, subscribe to Max Throttle. I'm covering every twist all weekend long. The paddock never sleeps, and neither do we. Stay on Throttle.